Lauren here, and Valentine's Day is coming up. Every year or so, I design a set of nerdy DIY Valentines you can download the templates for and make yourself. Today I'll be sharing two super cute card designs inspired by the wizarding world, specifically Fantastic Beasts, some baby nifflers, and a tiny Akami in a teapot. Read the video description below for a list of the materials you'll need to make this, along with a link to the free downloadable template PDF, which has all of the pieces you'll need to make it. Let's get started! Print out the template PDF. The pieces on the top half are for the baby niffler card, and the ones below the dotted line are for the Akami in a teapot. Cut out the pieces, taking note of the quantities and colors marked on the page, but feel free to adjust the colors based on what you have available to you. I'll be starting out with the baby nifflers, which are super adorable, have tiny pockets, and come in a variety of colors. Once you have all of the templates cut out, gather the colors of cardstock you need. The baby nifflers have patches of different colors, so start out with the color your first niffler has the most of. Flip over the niffler shape and trace it onto the back of the color you chose, in my case brown. That way the pencil marks will be on the back. Then cut it out. Flip it back to the front, and if you'd like it to just be a solid color, you can stop there, but I'm going to add a band of white across its chest. To do that, take some white cardstock and trace the back of the same niffler shape, but just the section of it that the patch will be on. Then draw the shape you want using the niffler outline as a guide. I drew a thick white stripe starting at the thinnest point. Cut out the new shape you drew and glue it onto the first shape. Trim the edges if they don't line up exactly. You can use that same basic idea to make a whole litter of baby nifflers. Here's how I did a black one with a bigger white patch, which I realized I did backwards. Keep in mind that you're drawing the mirror image of the shape when you do this. This niffler also has a little orange patch on his face, which was a bit trickier, so I just kind of winged it. These don't have to be perfect, everyone will be unique, and that's great. Glue down the larger pieces first, so this white one and then the orange one. Heads up that I'll be using a variety of adhesives in this video to achieve different effects. This time I'm using a glue stick, but feel free to just use whatever you have around if you'd prefer that. The last one I did was a gray niffler with white hair and patches on his shoulders, and I actually used the outline of the hair from the last one for that. I traced another midsection from the niffler template to draw the shoulders. Then here's a tip when using a glue stick. With these small tricky pieces, place them on a piece of scrap paper when you glue them in order to get the glue right up to the edges. Stick the different patches in place, and now we can move on to adding all of the details. Trace the smaller pieces onto cardstock in the colors and quantities marked on the pattern. The paws and eyes each come in sets of 2 mirror images, so flip the template over when you go to make the second one. Also, the eyes are really small, so they can be tough to trace and cut out. If you'd rather skip that step, you can just draw them on with a black marker. Now is the fun part, assembling the whole thing. First, arrange the eyes and nose on the face. Feel free to use the template as a guide for this, or just do it your own way. Then to attach the nose, I'm going to use this foam mounting adhesive that comes in different shapes and sizes because it makes the card 3-dimensional, which looks really cool. Choose a few foam shapes and stick them to the back of the nose, then peel the backing paper off of the top and press the nose down where you want it to go. Next, pick up each eye and glue it down in place with the glue stick, or just draw them on. Feel free to use an eye color other than black if it's tough to see the eyes on a darker colored niffler. My black and white and orange niffler ended up with brown eyes for that reason. Then add the feet, which sit along the bottom. I used the foam shapes again to attach these so they stick up a bit. To make a working pocket that the message will sit inside, grab this shape and fold down that flat edge along the top. Glue that down carefully. I'm using some glue dots adhesive which sticks right away so I wouldn't have to hold it in place while it dries. This folded edge kind of gives it the look of a hemmed pocket, which is a bit of a nod to the niffler plushies I designed. Fold the tabs around the edges of the pocket in the other direction. Those will be between the pocket and the niffler to hold it in place. Flip to the back of the pocket and add glue dots to the tabs you just folded, then press the pocket down just above the feet with the open edge pointed up toward the niffler's face. That way you can insert the funny looking pocket shape with the gem on top and it'll poke out and be super cute, but more on that later. Now attach the paws along the sides of the top of the pocket using some more foam mounting adhesive. It's so cute and it's almost done! Grab that gem card and decorate it however you'd like. I connected the lines of the gem with a light blue Tombow twin tone pen, then hand lettered a pun with some faux calligraphy and a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. Put the card back in the pocket, and that's the finished baby Niffler. Like I said, these guys look especially cute in large numbers and an assortment of colors, so feel free to make a bunch of them and give them to all of your friends. Or just keep them for yourself in a big group and display them somewhere if you're me and you can't give them up. Now we're going to make a little Akami in a teapot. Ever since I saw this in the first Fantastic Beasts film, I knew I wanted to eventually make something with that imagery, and here's my first attempt. So you'll need the rest of the templates, then grab the colors of cardstock you want to use and trace each shape on the back of the correct color with pencil and cut it out. To remove the shape from the handle of the teapot, put it onto a cutting mat and use a craft knife to carefully cut along the line. Now that all of the pieces are ready, I'm going to show you how everything will be layered. First the funny blue swan shape, then the orange beak, then the head, then the wing, then the teapot will go on top. First, we have to attach the beak to the back of the head. So once it's laid out like this, pick up just those top two layers and hold them together the way they were lined up on your desk. On the back, tape the beak to the head so they don't move around. Then you can flip the beak back and add a few glue dots where they will overlap. There's a better look at that. Now, when you flip the beak back in place and press down, the two are stuck together in the right position. Grab the foam mounting adhesive left over from the last cards and put a few shapes on the more complicated head shape that's connected to the rest of the Akami. Then peel off the backing and press the head and beak shapes down onto it, lining up the feathers on the back of its head. The eye was definitely too small to make out of cardstock on this one, so draw it onto the head with a black marker. Then grab the purple wing, add a glue dot to the underside of the way bottom of the shape, and press it onto the back of the Akami, pointing up so it'll stick out from behind the teapot. I added a piece of tape just in case. Then you can add a bunch of foam mounting adhesive along the wide oval shape at the bottom of the Akami and stick the teapot right on top of it, covering that whole part up. All that's left is to decorate the teapot with a message and any designs you'd like. And that's the finished Akami card, hanging out in a teapot, which opens you up to all kinds of fun tea-related puns. These cards can be given for all kinds of occasions, not just Valentine's Day, so get creative with them and have fun. If you make these cards yourself, I would love to see how they turn out. Post a photo of them on social media and tag me at LaurenFairWX. It would mean a lot to me if you would also share this tutorial with anyone you know who might enjoy it. And if you like these Fantastic Beasts designs and you would like to make more crafts featuring adorable Wizarding World creatures, I also have tutorials where you can learn how to make Niffler and Bowtruckle plushies that are really cute. I'll link to that in the cards and the video description as well. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed because I make all kinds of creative and nerdy videos that I think you'll enjoy. And leave me a comment below telling me what kinds of cards you'd like to see me make next. So far, I've made Harry Potter, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing ones that I'm really proud of, so you should definitely check those out as well. I hope you have fun making these. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.